That night we met was unexpected, you totally changed my perspective. Now you like to girl, I like to get with. It's made me feel electric. Sorry if I seemed a bit eccentric, my life's just a bit hectic. You're the first girl I've met who's not been deceptive. You're receptive, I'd like to introduce you to my family and collective, to the good people I step with. I don't want a one night stand with you, just let me prove we're in the same groove and you'll never get used, cause I'm genuine to the roots. And you know it's a problem that I toot, and I'm embarrassed about my yellow tooth, but that's just aesthetics. I book well cause I'm athletic, guys in plimp soles are pathetic. I'm a dark horse but girls don't get it, the way we kissed I'll never forget it. I didn't rush you and I partly regret it, on them beanbags kissing your collarbone. Your trembling body said that your mind was blown, sticky and wet, I ain't even warmed you up yet. Part of me wants to get you naked, but the good guy tells me to be patient, knowing we could spend time loving and wonder where the days went. I'd give you the world and never say how much I spent, remind you of how stunning you really are, how every day you chisel away at this stone heart. Appreciation for a guy who's smart, but I'll always be gutted that we never took it further than the start. I just wish you was polite and said, sorry mate, I was really drunk. You were scruffy and you smell like a skunk. You missed a chance to book me when you had me in halls, cause you talk too much, not cause you don't have the balls. So next time you take a girl home, don't stall, just pick her up and book her really hard against your bedroom wall. I get this feeling I'm too deep and complex for young minds to comprehend and respect. I'll always hold a torch for her and I'll never forget that me and her got unfinished business to attend. But for now I'll just keep her as a friend until our paths cross again, right for each other, maturer and older. You can come to me and cry on my shoulder. I'll carry that heartache I felt when you moved down under, empty stairs walking around in a thunder. Many girls who never reached the mark. I sat aimlessly waiting for you in Lees's Park, cursing the whole time that we're apart. But you know what? Your boyfriend's got as much sex appeal as Ian Beale. I bet when he books he squeals, while you're at work he's walking around in your dress and your heels. So let's get together before my blood congeals. You know what? Let's travel the world on two wheels. This is the deal, I'll be forever yours, signed and sealed. And you know what? Love's a really complicated thing, so we're going to try and explain it tonight on the show. We're going to try and talk over it. If you want to message me in, just message in. Actually, this track one is one that I did about 7 years ago that I never released from my first album. It's set to private. If you want to hit me up and ask for it, feel free. It's a bit touchy, I can't put it out because I'll get in trouble. And it's one of my favourite instrumentals by Immortal Technique. Alright, are you ready? Let's turn this down. Let's roll into the show. Alright, let's get into it. Love's really complicated. It's a complicated thing. And philosophers been trying to figure this out for years, haven't they? Proper trying to figure this out. And they ain't got it. Poets can't get it, writers can't get it. So what makes me think I can get it? Well, I guess I'm a good social commentator and I'm very observant. You know, the eye of the reptile is the first observer, as I've heard it said. First announcement. Ladies, I'm sorry, but the competition to win Dwayne's heart is over. It's over. And we're going to announce the winner at the end of the show. I'm saying that so that you have to watch all the way through the show. What's that I can hear? What's that I can hear? It's not 1,000 hearts breaking, it's 1,000 women breathing a sigh of relief that Dwayne's going to stop complaining and leave him alone. So, in my eyes, right, everybody starts with a number 10 on love, respect and trust, alright? That's a very Buddhist philosophy, and that's where we're going wrong in this country. Everyone's thinking that you've got to earn love, trust and respect. But in my eyes, everybody gets a 10. And it's how you behave after that that defines whether or not you'll keep that score. And it's easy to lose a score, but it's a lot harder to earn it back. Now, if everybody thought like that, and we had this kind of philosophy, how much more beautiful would life in the Western world be? There'd be a lot less messing around. I mean, I'm not saying that you got to roll around on the floor with everybody and kiss everyone that you come across. We could be a bit more European about it, maybe. Give people a kiss on the cheek and a squeeze. You know, I have a bromance with me mate Ricky. I'd love to give him a squeeze if I seen him again. You know, there's all different kinds of love. But first we'll get the natural ones out the way, you know, like, you know, you love your mum, you love your family, you love your best mate. That's a given. But what about the complicated love between partners? Because this is where it gets messy. This is where the subject gets really messy and really annoying. Alright. So there's obsessive love, which kind of borders on lust, if you know what I mean, where someone's just occupying your thoughts all the time. And when you're young, you don't know how to quite deal with it. You're going to get more obsessed quite easy. I've been there. I've done it. People say to me I fall in love too easy. But I don't like this term. Because to be in love, I think really that is a shared emotion, isn't it? It's something that you both share backwards and forwards. You're in love. But would I say I love people too easy? Well, like I said in the warm-up, everybody gets a natural 10 from me. Some people can maintain it easier than others. So, you know, I'll meet someone and they'll be like, oh, Dwayne, you're obsessed. You're in love too easy. Well, no, I'm hoping that I'll build on what I've, you know, on that 10. Maybe we'll go off the Richter scale and they'll get a number 12. I don't know. Lust. People confuse lust with love. I think one is, you know, your chemical balance in your brain, kind of the real feelings. And one is more like a physiological response, isn't it? But they're connected because if you love somebody properly and you lust after them, one will have a reaction on the other. You know, that sick feeling that you get when someone's not around. If you think about someone that you love with someone else and it makes you feel sick, unless you're like one of these dogging, swinging types, then, you know, you're probably going to enjoy that. But naturally, if you were to think about the person that you love the most being with someone else and it makes you want to vomit, then that's a good sign. But it can also mean that you're just in lust and you're just lusting after someone, and then things get messy and complicated. What about love without lust? Because I've been there as well. You know, in my 6-year relationship, I really loved her, but we just sort of stopped fancying each other. Still love her now. We're still protective over each other now. When her boyfriend pissed her off last year and she was really upset, saying really sad things about herself, and it made me angry. After I put the phone down to her, I was like, I tell you what, I'm going to go around and smash that skinny prick in the face. How dare he treat her like that? And then I reflected, I thought, yeah, perhaps I was a bit of a knob to her like that as well. And she was a knob to me, but we still loved each other. And loving is often putting up with each other's shit as well. As I said in last week's show, me mate in Eastern Europe, he says to me, Dwayne, you're going about things all wrong. Don't look for a woman to love you. Look for one who'll put up with your shit, and then the love will grow beyond that. So, what's wrong with Valentine's Day in my eyes? Oh, well, it's just a money-making scheme, isn't it? Let me tell you this, right? Let me tell you this. If you need one day a year to spoil your missus or your partner, your fella, whatever, with love, right, and buy them stuff and surprise them and take them out for dinner, and you're only getting laid once a year, then I'm sorry, but you don't deserve a partner. Ladies, if you got a fella like that that's only treating you to stuff on Valentine's Day, do yourself a favour, get rid of them and give me a call, alright? My door's open to you. So it is a money making scheme. We should just be loving each other like that all the time. Now, I'm not saying like go crazy and be buying them flowers every day, spoiling them with cards and shit every day. Surprise them when times are hard. You know, your missus had a shit day at work, she's not expecting it. She comes in and you've done things around the house. She might be a bit suspicious that you're sleeping with other people. It's natural. But maybe if you do it more frequently, then she won't be as suspicious, and you'll get on a lot better. What about unrequited love then? We're going all Romeo and Juliet on this one. When it's one-sided, you know, I heard it said when I was with that Romanian bird, and she would say, well, you know, sceptically, you know, there's always one partner that loves the other one more. And I thought, nah, bitch, that's just your shitty excuse because you don't love me properly. That's what it is, because you can't be bothered to love me back. You probably love me on a scale of like 1 to 2, and me being the dopey twat and being infatuated with you and putting up with all your shit and your negative behaviour, and I put myself out for you, you know, and loved you on a scale of 10, and you were a shithead to me. But, you know, I've forgiven you, even though you were a shithead and you were booking someone else behind me back. I sort of forgiven you, I put it behind me, enough to be able to speak to you in a civilised manner and not be like, where's that money you owe me, Alex? Shithead. You know, how's that guy that you ran off with? Whatever. Cheers for treating me like a turd, being mature about it. I think as we mature and we get older, we are able to brush things off a little bit easier when people are shitty towards us. So, how to get love back? I heard this one from a Buddhist philosopher not so long ago, where he said, don't just fully wholeheartedly throw your love at someone. What you got to do is make them the best person that they can be, so that they can love you back properly. Don't just be, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you constantly. Sort of empower them to do good things in their life. Do great things for them, so that they can in turn love you back. If they're a decent person, they'll realise this. Of course, if they're just a complete shithead, then, you're just wasting your time, ain't you? So, why have I decided to do this episode? Because, I could have done it next weekend. Well, it's fresh in my mind, because one of the lads I teach, this week asked me, Dwayne, what is love? And how do you know when you're in love? And I paused for a second, I mulled over it, and I gave him a beautiful answer. Whether or not he's mature enough to be able to deal with it now. So I thought this topic's hot on my mind and I want to work on it. I'm still asking myself the question myself. And I sort of told him, you're gonna get confused at the start with just your physiological responses of your stomach churning and your heart breaking and aching and all these things, and you getting a woody or whatever. Well, obviously I didn't say that to him, but these are the things that you confuse with love at the start. But I got this idea, this analogy that love is an emotional investment, and some people are more rich with love than others. Me, I'm a millionaire with it. I've got loads to give away, alright, and the interest that I must be accumulating in my bank of love must be phenomenal. I must have a really good credit rating for love by now. And it's like this, an emotional investment with a bank. The other person is like a bank. Now sometimes you'll invest in that person emotionally, and they'll give you the right amount back, like a tax-free ISA with no interest. You get back what you give. Sometimes if you love that person in the right way, you'll invest in them and they'll give you some back with interest. But unfortunately, sometimes you'll be with someone and it's just like you're paying off an overdraft. Do you know what I mean? And you're not seeing any credit. And after a while you just start to think, well, why am I investing all this love in this person and things are going sideways? So those of you that know, last year I was kind of really good mates with a gay girl, and she was canny hot. Well, she's canny hot. She's a pain in the arse. And then she decided she didn't want to be gay anymore and that she fancied me. And then she decided that she was sort of going to get involved with a fella she worked with, who he then went a bit psycho on her when she sort of turned him away after they'd been together. And she asked me about this, and I said, well, I'm not going on like that because I'm not overly emotionally invested in you like he is. He's invested more time and heart and energy and expectation into you than I have. Me, I'm just kind of taking it with a pinch of salt, knowing that you change your mind all the time, and I'll just sort of see what happens. Turns out it was other stuff that pissed me off to the point where I didn't want to hang around with her anymore, let alone be her fella. So that's my theory on emotional investment and banking. That's my analogy. How can it wear off? Well, it's when the investment runs out. Over time you sort of start to get pissed off with people and their habits and them not giving you the right amount of interest back. That's ambiguous, isn't it? It's allegorical. The right amount of interest. And you're just constantly in debt for love. And then what about this love making you fat? I've heard this one before, because that's allegorical as well and ambiguous. It does make you fat. Last girl I was dating, we were constantly going out for food all the time, or she was coming over late and we were having dinner because she worked as a pharmacist. So sometimes she'd come over at 1 o'clock. I'd be sitting waiting all night with the dinner, and I thought, well, I ain't going to wait too long, but eating at 1 o'clock in the morning ain't good for you, is it? And then you kind of get comfortable. Then like I've seen people when they're single or they've broke up with someone and they're like, right, I'm going to hit the gym, I'm going to make myself look good and feel good, I'm going to do all this, and they start to shape up, a nice tan, they're looking after themselves and whatnot, and then before long they settle down with someone else and they blob out again. You're going out for dinner, you're going out on dates, you're drinking, you're comfortable, You don't care that the person next to you is starting to get a bit lardy. They don't care that you're starting to get a bit lardy, because, you know, the sex part sort of wears off and you're sort of used to each other. And then before you know it, you've like 14, 15 stone. You know how difficult it's been for me to shed all that weight back off again. And that blob has still got a bit of a pot on now. I don't know if you can see that. And that was what, back in August. Going out for dinner all the time. And then it makes you fat in like the allegorical, ambiguous term that makes you kind of complacent in that way. Because you're just sort of expecting that person to be that way. If that makes any sense. I don't know, give me some feedback on that, see what you think. How do we change over time then? You know, because my dad's got this saying, my dad's a sceptical prick. I'm sorry. This is why I've fallen out with my dad, because he's a negative, sceptical prick. But he does have these sayings that are right. And he's got one that you don't know someone till you live with them. Now, when I was a kid, right, this upsets me. When I was a kid, my dad used to say, well, not a kid, like in my early teens or whatever, he'd say to me, oh, you know, one day you're going to meet this beautiful, stunning girl, Dwayne, and then, you know, everything will be amazing at the start, and then you'll get together, and you'll go in the bog after her, and she's knocked out the biggest dog log that you've ever seen, bigger than what you can, and it stinks more than any shit you've ever had. I'm like, yeah, cheers, Dad, thanks a lot. You know what I mean? Thanks for like setting me up for that. What, are you trying to make me gay or something? And in a way, he's kind of right. The habits that you bring. You know, I've heard another one that you'll know she loves you when she farts in front of you, when you're sitting on the couch and she sort of slyly leans over and cocks her butt cheek towards you and rips one out. And it's true. You start getting like comfortable and complacent, and she'll have a little little chuckle towards you. And this is what it means. You don't know someone till you live with them and all their shitty bad habits. Depends how civilised that person is, really, I guess, innit? So how has love changed over history? Well, I don't know, because I weren't always there, was I? But I'd imagine, you know, it used to be kind of like this view of masculinity and chivalry and, ugh, I'm the man, I'm the caveman, I'm the provider, I love you and I demand your love back, and you will do what I say and I am in charge. But people are still writing about it. They're still confused about it. Poets are still pondering over it, aren't they? Or are they? Is it just me? Is it just me? So, I don't know. Let me know. How's the love changed over your life and the course of your life? Do you feel any different now in the modern world? Yeah? What's this? I got incoming on my video chat. Training on and off since 2012, mate. Get a bird, start training less. Wait back on, lose bird, repeat. Haha. Yeah, I like that one, mate. I like that. Nice, Pabs, nice. What about online dating? Because those of you that know me know I've been having a go at online dating, and I've tried all the sites, and quite honestly, I've come to the conclusion that it's bullshit. It's bullshit. Because for women, they're having to fight off a million sex pests. You know, some will be directly sex pesty there and then, and, you know, just delete, block. They must get sick of it. And then you'll get the ones that are kind of, you know, they'll be a bit more sly. They'll wait till they get the number, exchange a few messages, and then send a few pictures of their bits and whatever. And, you know, it must do women's head in. And then by the time they get to me, they just can't be bothered to speak to me, and they're just sceptical. But then on the flip side, for lads, you know, women are in the power seat with this one, because women can pull a lot easier than blokes can, and we're outnumbered. Sorry, women. How do I say this? You know, there's more blokes on there than there is women on there, so they got more choice. And the problem with online dating is you don't know who else they're talking to. Now, me, with online dating, I've had this sort of policy of I'll only speak to one person at a time. You know, once I get a match or get speaking to someone, I'll only talk to them until such time as I think that it ain't going to happen, or they're not interested, or that they're a bit of a div, or we ain't got nothing in common, or whatever. You know, because I don't think that it's right that I would be chatting with loads of lasses all at the same time. And plus, I ain't got the energy for that. But I'll bet you any money there's people out there that are chatting with loads of people. Now, there's nothing wrong with freedom of choice. Don't get me wrong. But then what happens is, like, what happens if you got two guys that are really, really sound, that you really, really like? One of them's going to get hurt, aren't they? So it's a kind of shitty way of going about things. And what it does is it makes you kind of, you know, we used to have flavour of the month, right? Now it's just kind of flavour of the day, isn't it? You know, you realise, oh well, maybe I'll just have another sneaky swipe. Better, I'll swipe away. Bit more. Oh, there's another one. He's better looking. Means that you can resort to sort of, oh well, I don't like you, I'm just going to chat with someone else. Without saying, I don't like you, I'm going to chat with someone else. Which I just think is shit. Right? I mean, for me, I don't give second opportunities very often. And if someone dicks me around, which I've had a lot of over the last 2 years, if someone dicks me around, I won't ask them again. I'm sure there's going to be girls on my Facebook who, if you're watching this, to those girls on Facebook, look, if you're watching this, I'm sorry I didn't ask you out a second time, but it's because you dick me around, and I ain't the sort of fella that's going to pester people. It's not because I'm spoiled for choice, it's just I was raised in a woman's world, and I know when to back off and fuck off. That's the point, do you know what I mean? Now, I ain't saying I wouldn't give everyone a second chance, because there was this bird who I've met recently who I'll probably give her 3 or 4 chances, and out of all the girls I've dated in the last 2 years since I broke up with Alex, I ain't met anyone like her who really fills my soul with joy and makes me cheeks hurt, makes me laugh, makes me want to see them, and makes me enthusiastic about seeing them. And the first time she left my house and my hand closed the door and I pressed me back against the wall and my heart beat against my chest, and I took a deep breath and I tried to say wow, but the words didn't come out, and I thought, wow, she's amazing. And then self-doubt kicked in and it was like, shut up, Dwayne, you ain't got no chance with her, man, you're a loser, you're a fucking loser, you're punching above your weight, man, you dweeb. And then I'm just back to being me again. Where's she gone? Probably because I didn't jump on her quick enough that she thinks I'm a puff. I don't know what it is. So one-way love and self-harm, you know, we talked about unrequited love, didn't we? And I've been there where I've been at the point where I broke up with someone and I've been thinking, why didn't they love me back? And I've just been getting into loads of drink and then blazing loads of drugs and just not give a shit about myself and gone completely sideways. Been coming home, getting mortal, you know, drinking 2 bottles of red wine on the couch. And there's people who take it really seriously, a lot worse than what I did. You know, they're taking a knife to their arms and people committing suicide over love. That's how serious love is. I don't know, I wouldn't go that far, like, you know, I'm not ready to jump in front of a metro over someone. I guess because I got enough love from me family, you know, from me mother and from you lot. You know, I love all you lot. I got this card today off my mum. It says, son, you're sweet, funny, gorgeous, intelligent and charismatic. I think she sees that I've been going through a bit of a hard time lately, and you know, she's tried to pick me up a little bit. Love in the modern world, you see, the thing is, we're becoming so individualistic and so self-centered and egotistical. You know, social media is making us more egotistical, isn't it? And because of, if you go back to the 50s when mothers had to sit their kids in front of a TV, Generation X became a bunch of attention seekers, and then you can draw that correlation from there to now to social media with attention seeking, and now it's just spiraling out of control. And so love's always become about us. It's always, I've said this in my music before, and I do write beautiful love songs, you know, I should just switch to being a love songwriter. When we think about love, we only think about how that person makes us feel. We don't think about how we make them feel when we say that we love you. When I say I love you, you know, often we're not thinking, oh, you know, do I make her feel really special as well? It's just kind of, what about me? And the more egotistical and self-centered and individualistic that society's getting, the more that it's going to go that way. But what about the lack of love? What can that do to you? Well, you know, I've been going stir crazy, thinking I need some loving in my life. I need a good woman around me to laugh and joke on with, someone who fills my soul and inspires me to write better love songs, and someone who distracts me. I want someone who, you know, I've got loads to do. I'm a really busy guy, but I would like someone who distracts me and occupies me thoughts, even if it's just for 6 months until we settle down. I would like that. But what can the lack of love do? Well, it can make you very cold and bitter. You know, I don't want to end up like my old man living on my own and just sort of shouting for the cat all the time out the door, talking to the cat. I don't want to be crazy cat man. You know, you don't want to be crazy cat woman, do you? And I think the use of the word love, the L word, it's misused often. People say it without really knowing what it means. You know, they'll just use it too flippantly. They'll be together a couple of weeks and be like, yeah, I love you. Yeah, I love you. But they don't really know what it means. They're just kind of using it in a sort of flippant term, which ain't good, because then if that person really does think that you love them and you really don't, you just said it, then you're going to create confusion and it becomes unrequited, doesn't it? So what about dropping the L-bomb too early? Well, like I just said, you know, you got to make sure that you really do love that person, and it's the right time to tell that person that you love them. Otherwise, you're going to create confusion. But what I think is that you shouldn't really need to say it. I think if it's true love, real, true, honest, genuine love, then you shouldn't need to say it. You should just know it. You should know from that person when you look in their eyes, when you stick the lips on that person, when you look down at that person on your arm. You should know that you love each other. You know, I would like someone who gives me that sparkly feeling and be excited when my phone goes off and when they message me to say, what are you doing? And to feel the love through their message, even to think, yeah, this person genuinely loves me, and for them to squeeze me tighter when we're falling asleep as I'll squeeze them tighter, and know that sort of love without having to say it all the time. So there's this one I heard on Westworld. I don't know if anybody's watched Westworld, the series, not the film, the one with Anthony Hopkins. It's a beautiful series, and it's in the last episode where he said every artistic expression through human history, whether it be from Shakespeare to the Empire State Building, was nothing more than an expression of love. Man is like a peacock fanning his feathers, and it's just an elaborate display. But what does a peacock know? We do things for the most basest of reasons, but a peacock, you know, is just a bird who can't fly, digging around, pecking in the dirt, isn't he? Look that one up, last episode. I think it's in the last 15-20 minutes of Westworld. And you know, Anthony Hopkins is beautiful. He's a poetic sort of guy anyway, isn't he? It's just a nice piece of script, and it did get me thinking more. Started thinking back through my music. I thought, yeah, I've written quite a lot of love songs, but have I done it in a sort of peacock fashion to sort of attract a mate? I don't know. Is it more I have to get this off my chest because I've got all this love and affection burning inside of me? So what about infidelity then? Because you get these people who love each other, who, you know, they're really sound with each other, but they'll go and sleep with someone else. Maybe it's human need. I don't know. I'm sure there's people out there that are sleeping around with other people when they're getting enough action from the partner that they're with, and they can't explain why they do it. Maybe they're like polyamorous. Maybe that kind of you want to be with different partners every night of the week. Maybe they're sort of overstimulated and they need overstimulating more, and they want to be shared around. Personally, I think it's a bit weird. I wouldn't want to share me missus. However, I have come across girls before who have had different boyfriends for different things. One who had 3 boyfriends. You know who you are. I'm not going to mention your name. But she had one for sex, one for money, and one for laughs, because she couldn't find all 3 in one bloke. It's not that she wanted to be a hoe. It's that genuinely, in a small town, it was hard to meet the right bloke that would give her everything that she needed. And then she kind of settled for someone who's a bit boring. Loving yourself. Now, there's 2 kinds of self-love, isn't there? There's like egotistical loving yourself, you know, puffing your chest, Geordie Shore, kind of out in town, look at me, pompous in the mirror, loving yourself, loving the taste of your own protein shake, you know, that kind of loving yourself. But then there's loving yourself like taking care of yourself as well. You know, you got to love yourself enough, because if you start to hate yourself, then your life's going to go downhill. I've got a fine balance of love and hate within myself. There's things I don't like about myself that push me to love myself better and more, and push me to do better things. So as I mentioned in last week's show, there's a girl told me, Dwayne, I don't know why you're wasting your time trying to give your love and affection to someone, because you bounce it back on yourself really well in terms of the things you do in mind, body and soul. And she's right. You know, I'm out there training, I've got my art going on, you know, I keep my house clean, I'm very house proud, you know, I dress smart when I need to, and this is a kind of form of self-love. I take care of myself, I'm well groomed, and it's not just because I don't want to look like a scruff, you know, and then there's loving myself enough to put the work into myself, and thinking, you know, self-development, that kind of love. I want to mention the quote from Trainspotting, because I do think about the future quite a lot. I'm a very forward thinker, and the quote from Trainspotting, when he's in the club watching Begbie with the transvestite, and he says, "In 1,000 years from now, there'll be no guys and no girls, just wankers." And I sort of know what it means, but in the last 20 years, I'm still trying to figure that one out. But yeah, I sort of know what he means. Are men going to become obsolete? I do wonder that. Are men going to become obsolete? Are Pepsi just going to take a load of semen and replicate it in that vat that they make the sweetener in? Yeah, and then just women can just go and just you know, get artificially inseminated and have, you know, sex with a robot. I don't know. The future's messed up. The idea of the future, the people who write the future is messed up. Where are we going? Fuck knows. Reliability issues then. Now, this is why I've given up online dating, alright? And I'll say this, over the last 2 years, I've done a lot of dating, and I thought that this was just me that was going through this problem. But a good mate of mine, well, a few good mates of mine, have messaged me over the last couple of weeks after I've put videos out asking questions, and they've said, Dwayne, it ain't just you going through this. So, you know, I'll arrange a date with someone. Could be the night before, could be the Tuesday for the Wednesday, and then I'll get the bullshit excuse in the morning. And I can tell when it's bullshit. Come on, I was raised in a woman's world. You probably met someone else on Tinder later that day who piqued your interest a little bit more than me. And I've had girls who were giving me the bullshit excuses, and I could tell that they've obviously met someone else, and then 2 weeks later they've tried to message me again to say, oh sorry, I've been really busy. Well, yeah, whatever. Sorry, fail. You lost your chance, you missed your opportunity. By now, hope you end up with a mug. Hope you end up with some complete muppet because you thought that you could bullshit me. Or even why ask me out if you're going to say it flippantly. And this is, and it ain't just girls that are doing it to me. I've had mates do it to me. Really good mates do it to me. Who were like, Dwayne, what are you doing tomorrow? Well, not a lot. You know, I can fit you in, or I'm busy or whatever, I can fit you in. You want to come over? Yeah, I'd love to come over. Alright, cool, I'll see you at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock comes, 1:30 comes, no answer. Ring the phone, no answer, where are you? And then I'm just kind of, anyway, see you later then. Fuck off. I ain't got time for that, life's too short. Or there was a date that this bird I'd known for 10 years, who we'd sort of fancied each other for 10 years. And I'd sort of stayed away from her because I knew she was a bit dangerous, but I thought maybe she's grown up now. And she bugged me for a couple of months to go out with her. And then, so I went to meet up with her, but she didn't turn up. So I sat in a bar like a muppet for an hour thinking, well, you know, she's always a bit late, she's a bit slack, she's like that, she's probably just doing her makeup. No, time's ticking on. I'll ring her. No answer. So I'm wondering what's wrong with people, what's wrong with society. Is it because I got old-fashioned values and I'm reliable as an individual, that I expect that everybody adheres to them same sort of values? That, you know, you say you're going to meet someone, you arrange time, you arrange a place, you turn up, you be there. You know, don't dick people around, because that just fucking irritates me, really irritates me. And so I've sort of learned my lesson now, and that's another reason that I don't bother with a kind of, oh well, I'll give them a second chance. Nah, you fucked your first chance up. Yeah, see you later. Fail. Good luck with the rest of your life. Hope you end up with an ugly twat. I ain't saying I'm the best looking bloke, but I'm beautiful inside. So, we're coming into the last 10 minutes of the show. I might cut this one short today because I'm getting through me material a bit quicker. The competition to win Dwayne's heart Ladies, I'm sorry. Nobody won it. Nobody won it. And do you know why? Because I just gave up. I got so sick of all this kind of people letting me down that I just gave up. I thought, what's the point? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bestow my love on all of you instead. That's what I'm going to do. You lot get my love, my audience. I'm going to love myself a bit more. And then I realised, well, I ain't got time for it. Realistically, you know, I've just getting accepted for the Great North Run for the 3rd time. I've just getting into my first triathlon. You know, I'm training every day. But I ain't got the money for it. I ain't got the money for going dating. It's fucking expensive going for dinner, even if you're both paying your own way. I'm saving for a car. Why do I need to? Why do I need a missus? And until I can find someone who's going to fill my soul with joy, then what's the point? I ain't just going to date someone for the sake of it. Saying that, the lass who I would give multiple opportunities to you, if you're listening to this, you know who you are, you're not that far away, just come and stick the lips on me. My door's always open to you, because in a long time I ain't met nobody like you, and I think you're awesome. So I want to give a couple of shout outs. I want to give a shout out to my mate from Nuneaton, who I was chatting with last night, who seems to be on my wavelength. I'm glad you're watching my show after we had a little chat last night. I'm not going to mention your name because that'd be a bit unprofessional of me, but thanks a lot for tuning in. I always thought you were sound, even if you thought that I was a bit weird, but you know, I turned out alright in the end, didn't I? I want to give a shout out to Kath, who, you know, he inspires me with his philosophy. I want to give a shout out to my mum again, because she's awesome and I love her. And I want to give a shout out to everybody who's bothered to tune in and everyone who's given me feedback over the last couple of weeks, because, you know, I couldn't have done this show without people sort of helping me along and giving me a bit of guidance as to what they want me to talk about. And then in the next show, the next week, we're gonna go back to being controversial. Yeah, we'll jump in next week, go back to being controversial. We'll go back to being Dwayne, me machine gunning people, and sort of, not physically, because, you know, I'd get arrested, and well, I don't have access to firearms, if that's what you're thinking. Just verbally machine gunning people, and all these idiots. I'm going to talk about feminism, which I know is going to really probably upset a lot of people, but more the feminazis. And I'm going to talk about where it's going wrong, actually, instead of where it's going right. Because, you know, I come from a woman's world, so of course I'll support feminism, but I think there's a large proportion of it that's probably going to be going wrong. So that's on the agenda for next week, and I'm going to be talking about dreams and what is the nature of reality. But I'm only going to give you an introduction to that one, because it's such a big subject that I don't think I could cover it all in 45 minutes. And what I want to put feelers out there for you lot to give me feedback, and then we'll do a full show about the power of dreams and what is the nature of reality, and I might tell you a few of my secrets. In the meantime, have a scroll down my YouTube channel, Medicine Media UK, and have a look at Dwayne's near-death experience. Anthony, I can see you watching on live chat there. You should definitely tune into that one, because me and you lived together when I had that near-death experience, so you might remember it. What else was on next week's show? Technology. I'm going to be talking about if it's good or if it's bad. We'll have a chat about Elon Musk. Elon Musk, please send me up in a Tesla Roadster, rapping, strapped to the car. I don't care if I come back down. Just blast me up into space, mate. I'll be up there until until my oxygen runs out, or you come and get me on Mars. Alright, so that about wraps up the show. Actually, another thing, while you're on my YouTube, have a look for my new track. I forgot to mention, new track out, Eyes of the Hermit, and this kind of talks about what we've been going over in the show, about reliability issues, about people who just sort of say things flippantly. Yeah, I'm coming over, yeah, I'll meet you there. And it's kind of what was the line? Forget Facebook, forget Tinder, because you ain't gonna find no Cinderella. I ain't no Prince Charming, I'm a stand-up fella. So tune in, let me know what you think of that. It's only a short track, so it's not going to take up loads of your time. And I'm cutting this one short by 5 minutes today. Let me know what you think. Drop me some messages, how you feel about love. And I'll let you know that I love you very much. And I hope that your Valentine's Day goes special. And I hope that people treat you good all year round. Your partner treats you good all year round. So much love. Enjoy the rest of your week.